So welcome to today's webinar. My name's Andrew Talbot, and I'm going to take you through the 5 steps for embracing on-demand, a whistle-stop tour. So the format for today's webinar will be, I'll take you through a short presentation, probably about 15 minutes. And at the end of the presentation, we'll take questions, and obviously you can always contact us after the presentation if you want to discuss any topics in more detail. So let's kick off. Welcome to the world of on-demand and apparel. I won't be able to tell you everything about it, but my idea today is just to give you a different flavour. And it's often difficult on this sort of webinar when people are approaching things from different angles. You know, you could be from a multinational company wanting to add print-on-demand products to your existing website, or you could be working in your bedroom, you're a talented designer and you want to start making a bit of extra money on the side. The beauty of print on demand really is the speed at which things can be done. So I think the benefits of print on demand are probably clear for everybody here. You know, the increased speed to market, the no investment in stock, the ability to embrace a sustainable solution. So, you know, things aren't produced until they've been sold, so there's no waste. Obviously, the ability to get things fast and quick. And obviously the ability to link with different systems. So let's talk about an introduction and the 5 steps, as we call them. So the first step is really you've got to set up your products. In this world, that includes setting up the artwork, etc. You've got to publish your products, so the e-commerce or the marketplace or however you're going to sell them. Very critical that the artwork is auto-generated, because if you want to get the right price and scalability, the fulfillment center is not going to want manual processes. Order routing. So this is a global world too. You can be, you know, based in England and selling in Australia, and the products are being produced in Australia. You can do a whole range of different products. So routing is critical. And then obviously the shipping at the end of the process. So they're the 5 steps I'm going to walk you through. Let's have a look. Step 1 is product management. So there's several aspects to this, and there are many different systems out on the market where you can create products. The idea really is you need a library of blank products that you can print onto, and I'll show you some examples of those in a minute. And one of the advantages for larger retailers of print on demand is you don't have to have the same number of SKUs in your catalog, because you can allow the website to deal with that. Now, I think I'll give you some examples rather than me talking. So this is an example of a library of blank products. If we were to choose one of these products, and then we can make our own designs. I mean, you can upload your own images. I mean, I'm just going to sort of choose some typical ones, if you like, where we can drag things around. We could add a text area. Your name. We can obviously then play with that text area, move it around. And there's lots of different options, and we can decide whether when that product is published, that is editable, because that's one of the other things about print on demand that's nice. You can obviously have a range of static designs, but you can also create personalized designs. So the idea really is that the trend in the world is people will pay more for personalized products. They convert at higher ratios. So personalized is an element of print on demand, and we haven't got time to go into all of that today, but we'll give you a flavor of that in future webinars. So that's the sort of place I can create my own design. We can have great catalogs where you could create this design and apply it to multiple products at once. And we have all of those sort of tools available for you. So step 1 of the 5 steps was you need your products set up. What you need is blanks, and then you apply your designs onto those blank products. So I guess step 2 is the e-commerce experience. So once you've created your products, you've got to sell them somewhere. And there are so many different options now. One of the most popular is Shopify, where you publish your product straight to Shopify. But ultimately, with technology like our own, you can basically publish products anywhere. And I was going to give you a few quick examples because I think a picture tells 1,000 words. So here's an example where this is a static design, and you can kind of choose the style of product that it's applied to. So dynamically, I can flick through, choose the style. I can then choose the size and then the color option. So if you like, that product now, if we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 color options, we've got 6 sizes, and then 20 styles, there's about 150 SKUs there in a normal world that you might have to print and put on the shelf somewhere. So in this example, there is nothing on the shelf, and the experience has been that this has been embedded into a website. So there's also very little technical work for the person to do. If I gave you a different example, in this case, it's not embedded into the website, it uses what we call a modal window. So if we click there, that then pops up and we've got auto resizing text on there. So it will give us a live preview in terms of that. If we take it further, and I'm just giving you a lot of different examples. So if I went back to the beginning here and said, I want an Apple product, I want the iPhone 12 Pro, and then I've got all these different phone case options that I could choose. And then I can actually upload images onto that phone case. I can choose layouts, upload images, our art. So I could choose something from an art collection. And that uploads, or I can upload my own images. Again, I can add text. I could even look at that product in a 3D, if you like. So it then takes it onto a 3-dimensional look and feel for me. So there are so many different ways you can present the product on the website. One of my favorite examples now is the cut and sew side of the business. So we're no longer limited to a blank garment that's pre-done. We can actually print rolls, and it's feasible to get orders of 1 now in a cut and sew, and we can literally, jump on there, change the look and feel of the product. So the e-commerce experience is very important. It will lead to better conversions. So it's not just about creating your products, it's then about merchanting your products properly. And we can give you a lot more details on your options as we move through these examples for you. So we've got to step 3. And this is probably the bit that's, from a commercial point of view, the most important. Because if, when you're thinking about printing an order of 1, that's fine. Everything's printed 1 at a time, in theory. But if somebody has to manually go and retrieve some artwork, then you are adding, you're probably doubling the cost of production. So auto generation of artwork is critical. So most of the good tools like ours, when you create and save this product, it will auto generate what we call the basic artwork rules. And then if we go and look, I use this as an example of one that's been set up. So we can actually do live edits on it, look at what the personalization elements were. So in this case, it's got some text and an image. And then just for this extreme example, I've created the artwork as a PNG, a JPEG, a PDF, but different printing processes require different setups. So, even in our Kornit world, something printed in South America and something printed in Western Europe may well have a different print setting because of the ambient temperature or the type of machine being used. So it's really, really important in this world now to be able to create the base artwork and then deploy it differently locally. And, you know, I would use examples as well as in the DTF world, we want to batch components together to put them on a roll to get material utilization, etc. So sounds a complicated area, but fortunately software like ours now makes that quite a simple area. So when you're considering your print on demand strategy, auto artwork generation is really a very key area. And it just gives you an example there. So step 4, I did tell you it was going to be a whistle-stop tour, is intelligent order routing. Now, this is, again, a really critical area, because what we're trying to do is make it sustainable on demand. So we really don't want to print something in the United Kingdom and ship it to America. It's much better to print it in America if that's where it's going. So let's have a look at the options for order routing that now exist for us. So the most simple and the most common order routing at the moment used out there is by product. So when a product gets ordered, it gets routed to a fulfiller that's got the right equipment and the right blank stock to print that product. And that's often a one-to-one thing now. There are plenty of, you know, our overall Kornit customers that do a very good job of this sort of thing. But then what we've started to do is think about, well, hang on, there are other reasons. So delivery region is one we've just talked about. Really important, we think, to be able to route the order to the closest to where it's going to be delivered. So not only are we not adding to landfill, we're also reducing carbon footprints. And also gives great business expansion opportunities for, you know, a talented designer in China to sell their products in Europe, or a, you know, a talented American designer to want to sell in Australia. You know, there's lots of options that leads to. But we can also be a bit more intelligent now. And we could have somebody that was a specialist in baby wear. So the baby wear or the small t-shirts go to one, or we could have someone that's got a short-term capacity problem. This is something we're seeing more and more. At peak season last year, we were helping quite a lot of companies route their production to different sources. So all you had to do is drop it into our platform and we could find people that had available capacity. And we can start to get more advanced now, where you can rank fulfillers in terms of their performance. You can route by maybe different ink sets that people have got. You know, we've got new technology coming out at Kornit to give some amazing new print effects, but you imagine not everybody will have it from day one. So routing and batching particularly for DTF, so you can batch jobs together. And routing gives you the ability to be more sustainable and also, you know, take on a wider range of fashion-based products. So we're even finding, you know, existing manufacturers with Kornit machines are using routing and batching, not just for capacity, because they want to try a different product type where they don't have the technology in-house. So step 4, intelligent order routing. And I've touched on it, but obviously Custom Gateway is now part of the Kornit organization. And one of the things that's really opened up for us is the ability to get a world-class fulfillment network. So there are obviously thousands or over 1,000 Kornit printers out there. And the vision, where we're close already, we've got almost 500 connected fulfillers, is that we can route orders to any of these people that want to receive them. So whether you're listening to this as a fulfiller or a router, you know, there's ways that we can help unlock the market for you. So global fulfillment network is a key part of what we're doing. So step 4. So the final step is we've got to be able to ship things properly. Now, the world of shipping, although we're keen to route things to, you know, the nearest people, it's still what you call it last mile or whatever. And we've got hundreds of different shipping integrations now within the platform, you know, and there are people like DHL that own Global Mail that have a specialist service for going between countries. There are what we would call a shipping aggregator like Easy Post or Easy Ship that connect lots of different ones. There are specialist European ones like Hermes, or global ones like Metapack or ShipStation, Royal Mail, Spring, Transglobal that specialist in international, as do P2P. You know, there really are hundreds of options, and it's very simple to set those up. And one of the things we're starting to be able to help with is, obviously, as millions of transactions go through our platform, we can help, you know, partners get better and better rates. And we can also do things like, if you're working with a big retailer, they can put their shipping account on when they already ship millions of transactions and take advantage of their shipping rates. So that last mile, as we call, there we go, the 5 stages of on-demand. So that is the 5 stages of on-demand presented in just over 17 minutes. I'm just going to take you on a couple more examples. We are also seeing quite a trend towards what we call vertical retailers. So these are retailers that get into print on demand and actually want to print themselves. So the bit we're not really discussing today that we've got, that makes it the 6th stage, is we've got a fulfillment stroke workflow system for you if you want to do it yourself. There's another trend as well where leading fulfillers are partnering with retailers and running a facility in their warehouse, which we're seeing increasingly commonly happening. So again, if these are things that are interesting to you, they're areas that we can help with. Our technology is truly portable from that point of view. So really now we get to the Q&A section of the presentation. If there's any particular questions people would like me to answer today. And we can talk about the resources that we can give you post-webinar. So obviously we have the Kornit website, kornit.com, which is being enhanced to add more print on demand. And we've also got custom-gateway.com, where you can get more specific resources. But if you want to get in contact with any of the contact mechanisms on there, we can share a downloadable PDF slide deck on this presentation. We've got a full recording of the webinar, and we've got several white papers that help in this area. So hopefully you've all found that of interest, and I'll see if we've got any questions to answer. So, does your system only work with textile products, or can it be used with other products? So the answer to that question is no. Obviously, we were acquired by Kornit last year, and our focus has been very much to make sure we're world-class in the textile space. But virtually any kind of print-on-demand product we can enable in any corner of the world. So no, we're focused on all types of print-on-demand product. Is there a limit to the number of orders your system can process during peak periods? No. I would like to say it's literally unlimited, but I suppose that's a little bit of an aggressive statement. We manage everything through the Amazon cloud infrastructure, so it's very scalable. You know, we could take thousands of orders a second, and last year we processed over 20 million. This year we expect to process over 50 million, and we have ambitious plans, you know, to get to the billion quite quickly. Will your system only work with Kornit printers, or will it work with traditional screen printing? Screen printing isn't really an on-demand methodology, as in you need minimum quantities. We could certainly provide a solution for screen printers, but really our mindset is all about the on-demand world, and everything we design is to make on-demand easier. Can you explain the cut and sew a little more, please? Of course. In simplistic terms, Kornit have now become market leaders in the DTF, so printing on rolls of fabric. So you can print on a roll of fabric, and then you have a pattern, and then you have a cutter, which cuts out the pattern, and the items are sewn together. And we're seeing a huge drive towards what we call the microfactory. So we can certainly connect you on each continent now with people that can do pieces of one on the microfactory. And I think in the end, this is going to become huge. At what point does Kornit need to be introduced to the e-com developer? It's a good question, that one. I mean, in reality, you could just pass as finished artwork, so you could say never. But what we found our job is to help the e-com developer. You know, things like making sure the right artwork's sent, the right message is sent. So we would say as early as possible into the process. We've got plugins for Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce, and many leading platforms, but we're more than happy to help. If you just want to talk about what to do. Will you have a Wix app added to your system? Someone's reading my mind. That is in progress. If you want to know about, if there's anybody particularly wanting a Wix app, which obviously there seems like it, because there's a question, love to, if you give us your details after the webinar, we'll introduce you and you could be one of our beta customers. When do you anticipate holding a seminar outlining accounting integration options? That's an interesting one. We've already got 20 or 30 accounting integrations in the generic one. We'll add that to the list. I think we're more than happy to run a seminar or custom training. You know, we kind of understand that we do a lot of different things. So, you know, we're driven by you. So whatever your priorities are. So again, we can see who you are, I think, on there. So we'll be in contact. Can you explain more about the auto-generate artwork? Yes, but I could probably do another few hours on it. Ultimately, I suppose there's two types of auto-generate artwork. When you're designing something in advance, you're going to store that artwork somewhere. And what we can do is automatically retrieve that artwork and send it to the printer, and we can embellish it by adding additional printing instructions to it. There are more technical stuff on the personalized stuff, where obviously we're grabbing components and compiling it. But I think we probably, you know, we're more than happy to explain more, but probably not in the 2 minutes that I've got now. I found it very difficult to understand the system as a starter. I've done the Gateway Academy. So, yeah, I mean, it's a balancing act, I must admit. I mean, our system does do a lot, and it is one of our focuses to try and simplify the process. We're more than happy to run custom training sessions. So if you've done the Gateway Academy and you know you feel you haven't got enough from it, please do get in touch, and we're more than happy to run a custom training session. Same question as Wix, but for Squarespace. Yeah, that's an interesting one. At the moment, there isn't a Squarespace app for personalized, but we use a product called Zapier. Zapier, and Zapier does have a Squarespace connection, so we can pull print-on-demand orders for Squarespace, not personalized at the moment. But I do recommend having a look at Zapier because it connects to almost 100 different e-commerce platforms, and we have an integration with our platform for it. So hopefully I've managed to answer all your questions. We seem to have had quite a lot, so thank you. Any of the custom Gateway / Kornit team are always happy to talk about on demand. And hopefully I've given you a flavour of the exciting new world and maybe speak to you at some stage in person. Thank you for listening.